I'm now going to ask Vilma Chan to join me. This morning, Vilma is going to speak about the journey of her life. Vilma's the head custodian at our school, at the Children of St. Martha, who I've known and admired for many years. And when we were asked to think of people who we might want to speak, for some reason or another, I was drawn to her. Just the way she works with the students, the way that she interacts with the staff. There was just something about her that I knew that she had something to say. And I know what she's going to say because I heard it last week, but I had no idea what it was going to sound like. It was moving. So I think that once you hear it, you'll agree that she's an amazing woman with an amazing story, and I think you'll really appreciate what she's going to say today.
Thanks, Rhonda. Okay, I normally don't talk in front of so many people, so please bear with me. Anyway, yeah. What an honor to be here today, So, like Rhonda said, I don't normally talk to in front of so many people, so today I hope you guys will understand what I'm saying. So anyway, okay. Growing up, I always believed in faith. Being raised a Catholic, I remember always involved in the church, especially when we had a special occasion, like Easter and Christmas. Back when I was in the Philippines, life is always tough. My older sister pretty much raised me and supported my parents. I guess my journey began when I was 13 years old. My parents cannot afford to send me to school. That's when I decided to find a job and go to school at the same time. My first job was babysitting with no little experience. Luckily, my teacher's sister-in-law, was looking for a full-time nanny. So with my teacher's help, I was hired for the job right away. My job was looking after a little girl and her 2 siblings. It was after I put the little ones to bed that my job began. I would clean the house, do the laundry, and iron. By the time I finished, it was already past midnight. That was my routine every day. So I was exhausted, but I still have to study and do my homework. I continued to work until 9th grade in my country that was completing high school. Then God started testing my faith. My dad got hit by the car, which one of our he was in critical condition. My sister came and told me what happened to our dad, but I couldn't leave my work right away because my boss was still at work, and I couldn't leave the baby. I was very fortunate because my boss was very nice and understanding. Thankfully, my dad was out of the boat when I went to visit him. So I thank God for the person who saved my dad life and took him to the hospital. God was listening to my prayer. While I was going to school and working, I was struggling to keep my grades. I never have time to study, but I had to keep going because I needed to pay my tuition and support my parents. One day, my teacher came and talked to me. He said that he had concern about my grades and that I was failing. So he didn't want me to fail, so he gave me a second chance. I had just had failed an exam, but if I redid the Phase 6 exam and passed it in the second time, he wouldn't fail me. So I studied hard, and I did it, but I have to make a tough decision. Should I keep working or repeat grade 9? So I couldn't both at the same time. It was almost graduation. I really want to graduate, and I decided to quit my job so I could study more. I was very proud of myself, though I still did it by supporting myself. Finding the job in the Philippines was very hard. It still is. At the time, I decided not to go to college, instead start looking for a job. Months passed by and still no luck, so my only option was to sell cigarette. That's the one. Cigarette on the street. So like my cousin did, I become a cigarette vendor. When the traffic turned red, I ran fast and got inside the bus to sell cigarette. The driver will tell us to get off once the lights turned green. We had to jump off quick while the bus was slowly moving. Sometimes it was a little scary because you didn't know what would happen when you jump on the ground. I tried not to think about it and focus on what I was doing. I would go home once a week to see my parents and give my money. I did that for a while. Some nights, my cousin and I would sleep under a car and would pray that the car wouldn't move until morning. We didn't get to get run over, but we needed a place to sleep. One morning, we woke up. All our cigarettes and money were gone. I lost everything that I worked for, my entire hard work running around on and off the bus. Through the traffic, it was gone. I was devastated, angry, and broke. Not even a penny in my pocket, so I left and never come back. My older sister left the Philippines and came to Canada. We were so happy for her, but she had to leave her daughter behind. She promised she would bring her, my parents and I, to Canada. And she kept her promise. Unfortunately, the promise was only kept for my parents and I. This is very hard. It's 26 years ago since my niece passed away. It is difficult for me to talk about here. She was only 10 years old when she died. She was complaining that her stomach felt really painful. So we took her to the faith healer that we do first time. That's the only we can afford. But the pain didn't go away. So we took her to the doctor. A few days later, we found out that it was her appendix. The doctor at the clinic told us we had to take her to the hospital right away. We got to the hospital, but no one checked her out, rushed her in the emergency after they find out that we didn't have money. They made my niece wait in the hallway for a few days. It broke my heart to see my niece suffering, and I couldn't help her. I couldn't do anything for her. I tried to convince the doctor to operate my niece because the money was coming. Didn't even check on her until we told them that we got the money. After her surgery, she was under observation, but it didn't take that long before she started having hallucination. I started to worry and question myself. What could I have done different, and how come I couldn't protect my niece? I was responsible for my niece, and her mom trusted me to look after her. What happens if something goes wrong? How am I supposed to explain to my sister her daughter died under my care? An hour later, after all her suffering and agonizing, my niece passed away. This may seem like something cruel from the past, but it's still happening. I'm only speaking with my own experience. When the doctor pronounced her dead, I couldn't believe it. And I couldn't accept that she was gone. I thought to myself, I must be having a nightmare. This is not happening. I went and took to the doctor. I asked why she died. He told me that her appendix ruptured and poisoned the blood. That's how I understood it back then. I was angry, and that I left the hospital for a while. I just started running. I didn't even know where I'm going. Next thing I know, I was inside the church and was crying and begging to God to bring my niece back. She didn't deserve to die like that. I cried for a while and prayed, and I prayed to God to hear me out. But I thought if I went back, my niece would be there again, but she wasn't. So I was angry, and I stopped believing for a while. In my mind, I blamed him. It wasn't his fault. Why didn't help us? My niece alive. Sorry. A year later, my parents and I came to Canada. I was sad that my niece didn't have a chance to see and enjoy her life in Canada. Slowly, I started believing again. My faith started to return. My sister had another beautiful daughter in Canada. And Canada really changed my life. I'm happy with my life. I have a good husband, a good daughter, and I have a good job. I think we are doing very well. When I came to Canada, the first thing I did was take English as a second language. I wanted to speak and communicate with people. I wanted to understand them, and they understand me. Supporting my family in the Philippines is never ending. Until this day, my older sister and I continue to support them. Family is important. Believing in God is always in me, but I guess there are times in our lives that we feel like He's not there. We start to lose faith, especially when someone close to our heart, but we cannot control our lives, no matter how much we tried. We can stop having faith in Him. We can stop believing in Him. He always with us, and it is at those toughest moments that we should have faith every day. I thank Him for bringing me to Canada. I'm lucky that I'm surrounded by good people, that children are always brighten my day, and I always looking forward getting up and going to work. Thank you, everyone.